am tired of walking into businesses that complain that they cannot do certain things, and then looking at their table and seeing that all they have with them is a toothbrush and alcohol, and then bragging to me how they've been in business for 10 years. I am tired of going to businesses that complain that somebody said no because they may have to wait. Oh, that damn customer's impatient. You've been in business for 10 years. Stock a fucking 15.6-inch screen if you advertise that you fix fucking computers. Invest in your business. You have a car. You have a house. You have 2 stores. I'm sure somewhere there just a little bit of sacrifice could be put in so that you could spend $38 fucking to have one of those there in case a customer walks in.
Hey everybody. So about 6 years ago, I did this video on investing in yourself, investing in your business, and the importance of sacrifice when you invest in your business. The premise of that video, which I'm going to show at the end of this video because I think it's an important video, is that if you want your business to succeed, if you want to climb to the next level, you're not going to always be able to do that and maintain the lifestyle that you had prior to investing in your business. But it's going to be important that you do so for many reasons. I was complaining at the time about a Facebook post that I remember reading about somebody who was aggravated at the fact that a customer had the audacity to walk out of their store because they had quoted a 1-week turnaround time for replacing one of the most common parts on any PC laptop at the time. This repair shop offered that they do accidental damage and physical damage repairs on PC laptops, but they did not stock an N156B6LOB or a B156XW02. That's the most common screen to be used in a PC laptop at that time. It was used in over 2,400 different model laptops. They would advertise they did PC laptop screen repair, and they could not spend $55 to have the screen in stock so that if a customer walked in, they could tell them it would be a 20-minute turnaround time rather than a 1-week turnaround time. Now, because this was Facebook, I was able to click. I could see their personal profile. I could see that that individual had upgraded to a new flagship phone from their old flagship phone, even though their old flagship wasn't broken. I could see that they had several cars in a neighborhood that did not require that you even have one. I could see that they had a nice house. I could see that they lived a nice lifestyle. I could see that they decided to eat out more often than I was eating out at the time. But they would complain about a customer's response to them when that person decided that I'm not going to invest $55 effing into my business. And it bothered me. It bothered me because at that time I was not in the position that they were financially. And if I were in that position financially, I thought, man, I'd do a lot better job managing it than you would. But besides that, it bothered me because in the beginning of my business, I put a lot of time, effort, and above all, sacrifice in so that I could climb the ladder that I wanted to climb so that I could get to where I am now. Now, at the beginning of my business, as some of you know if you watch my older videos, I had started with about $268 in my bank account. And about a year in, I was living in a place, and you'll see the pictures in that other video, that was not exactly the nicest looking apartment. It wasn't exactly a place where when you went outside, it was safe all the time. Every now and then you may be woken up by the sound of a gunshot. And there was an apartment that was overrun with mice. In the long run, I was kind of happy about it because it's how I got to meet Mr. Clinton and Blackberry, my vegan mousetraps. They're absolutely lovely creatures. I respect animals. I'm very glad that that apartment got me an incentive to be introduced to lovely kittens that kept the mice away. But it was not a nice place. And the reason that I decided to get that apartment rather than pay just a little bit more to live in a place that was not an absolute and utter shithole was that it allowed me to invest in a Crest ultrasonic cleaner. I knew at the time from the basic experiments that I was running, I realized, okay, I can do basic board repair, the cleaning at this level works, and customers are willing to pay for it. So I did my little experiment. I realized there was revenue coming in, but I knew I needed to go to the next level. I needed a better tool or better marketing or something. And part of it was that cleaner because I knew it would help me fix boards that I wasn't able to fix before. So I decided to go for it. But going for it required a little bit of sacrifice. Now, I started interning at Avatar Studios when I was about 17 years old, and I had started learning how to become a technician from there. I'd been running my business for a year. I had been doing freelance work and work at other places for about a year and a half at that point. A year and a half, 2 years, and I had worked at Model Sporting Goods for a year. So I'm about 4 years into my work history, 4 or 5 years in, and I'm looking at downgrading myself to a place that is overrun with mice, that is a little fucking box. The first barrier to sacrificing is the ego. Dignity, the sense of self-respect. To some extent, you may feel that you've achieved something. You've achieved something, you've gotten to a point, and you don't want to go below that point. And realizing, man, I've been working for 3.5 or 4 years, and just to be able to get this tool, I'm going to have to downgrade my lifestyle to the point where I live like absolute crap. That's a barrier to investing in yourself. And that is something that you're going to have to overcome if you genuinely want to reach the next level. So the first barrier is going to be how it affects your ego, your dignity, when you're taking a train rather than riding in a nice car, when you are coming home to a shitbox rather than coming home to a half-decent home, when you're eating food you cooked yourself rather than eating out with your friends. The second barrier is going to be your friends. Because when you say, when they want to go out to a club and you go, yeah, I'm not able to do that because I'd love to go out with you guys, I'd love to do this, but I am investing in my business right now. This is what I need to do in order to be successful. Not only are you choosing to not do what they're doing, you're choosing to not be around them when they are going out to a nice fancy restaurant or going out to a club or going out to a bar or going out to something that is going to cost money. You're essentially putting up a mirror to any of them that are making bad decisions. And you're saying that it is possible to not do the things that you're doing and get out of living in a place that's infested with mice. It may be possible, and I'm doing it and you're not. You may think that if you start to do better for yourself, that the people who are your friends are actually going to cheer you on, but they're going to say this phrase, this caustic, disgusting phrase that Eli the computer guy talks about in a lot of his videos, which I agree with, which is, you think you're better than me? That phrase, you think you're better than me, is one of the most caustic, awful, garbage phrases that I've ever heard. I've gotten to meet with people. Not saying that the rich are very moral all the time, but I've got to meet with people who are rich. I've got to meet with people who are poor. I've got to meet with all different types of business people. I've gotten to sit down with senators, assembly people. I have lived a interesting life. And the people who are genuinely bringing others down, in my opinion, from my experiences, have actually been the people who are saying, oh, you think you're better than us? When you try to achieve something and you explain to them, this is why I'm not going to be able to invest in the same things that you are. This is why I'm not going to be able to go to that club tonight. This is why, while you all are deciding this is a cool set of shoes to buy, that I'm going to be wearing the same, Zoom Air Streak 6 that I got used 3 years ago, that are all dirty and scuffed up. You would think that the people around you who are your friends actually want to see you do well. And you're going to wonder why they would say things like that, but in reality, what you wind up doing is holding up a mirror. If you're around a bunch of people who are obese, and you say, listen, I genuinely enjoy eating with you all, but here's what I'm going to be getting today. You are the only one with something different on your plate, and then you start to actually look better over time and be healthier. You would think that your friends would like that, would appreciate it. But there are going to be a small percentage of those friends, a small number as Apple would say, that don't like that because you're holding up a mirror that shows that there is actually a Shawshank Redemption sewage path to the Happy Island on Zwantanea. There's actually a path out of that they're not taking, but you are. And you're showing that that path is actually possible to be taken. And it's putting up a mirror that shows that if you want to make this difficult investment, this difficult sacrifice in a small way, that you can get to where I'm going. But a lot of people don't want to put in that effort. A lot of people don't want to downgrade their lifestyle for a short period of time. A lot of people don't want to live in a slightly crappier place. They don't want to eat a little bit healthier when they need to. And they don't want to stop going to a club or a bar when they want to. And when you put that mirror up, even if you don't think you're putting that mirror up, when you do put that mirror up by making the decisions that you're making, you are going to piss them off. And that aggravating of your friends is going to be a deterrent to investing in yourself. And it's something that's important to recognize. You're going to notice that the true friends are the ones who are okay with maybe, instead of going to a fancy schmancy club, following you to the 99-cent pizza place to hang out with you, because they respect the fact that you're budgeting differently so that you can invest in learning new knowledge, that you can invest in parts or people for your business so that you're able to climb to the next level. They're going to cheer you on. They're going to want to see you get to that next level. They're going to give you tips on how to get to the next level. They're actually going to say, oh yeah, they're going to think to themselves about how they can keep temptation away. So if you're trying to lose weight, they're not going to eat a chocolate cake in front of you. If you're trying to invest in your business, they're not going to suggest hanging out at the mall right next to this fancy schmancy expensive shoe store while you're putting effort into squeezing every single penny so that you can invest in a Crest ultrasonic cleaner. They're going to respect that. And the people who respect that are going to be the people who are your real friends. It's very difficult to place yourself in a situation where you figure out who your friends are and who the takers are. The people who just want to keep you down, or the people who just want you around because you're being around them or you're partaking in whatever it is they're partaking is, allows them to avoid looking in the mirror at the decisions they're making and realize why it is they're not achieving what they want to achieve. But you need to look over or look past those deterrents. And the reason I bring this up is that I'm at the point where I got to do this again. Again, I've been in business for 10 years now. I am not doing this at the same level that I was 10 years ago. I'm not living with mice again. And Mr. Clinton is still eating wellness. But I am deciding that I don't want to have these Amazon links in my description anymore. I am not a fan of how Amazon does business, and I am not a fan of how they treat sellers. But above all, I'm not a fan of what they did with getting rid of independent refurbishers and sellers on their site. And if I want to sell a lot of the items that I link to, that's going to be a decent amount of upfront investment. I'd like to sell Rossmann branded microscopes that actually have the proper camera rounds rather than the cheap ass one that's on Amazon right now so that Amscope or Romano can save $5 or $10 per sale. I'd like to buy that stuff. I'd like to be able to do data recovery videos, which means buying another camera, which means getting the cabling, which means buying Steve the data recovery, the bench and the PC3000 and the setup and all these thousands of dollars of tools for swapping heads and doing everything else. When I want to invest in all that, that means that I have got to change a little bit of how I live my life. I've got to change a little bit in terms of how charitable I want to be in certain areas. I've got to change a little bit in the definition of what it is I consider a vacation, to where I may be staying at an Airbnb instead of a hotel that may have a couple more roaches in it and stuff like that. But my point is I'm revisiting that again. And I'm not deciding that I want to give up every single luxury, but I have to check my ego and realize, you know what? Yeah, I have been working for 10 years. I have been in business for 10 years. I have the choice of I can decide to go to the next level, teach much more people how to do something else, sell things in a more ethical way, and expand my store and expand the repertoire of services that we offer and expand the exposure that we have, but live life down a tier. Or I could stay at that tier but have a business, but I'd have to be happy at the fact that my business will do this and then maybe eventually do this. And I'm choosing the former. It's something that you're always going to have to revisit, and you're always going to be checking yourself because there are going to be people in your life that don't like the fact that you're going to the next level. Not even because of jealousy, but just because it puts up a mirror to the decisions that they're making. And you're also going to have to check yourself and your own ego. You should stop associating your dignity with the point that you've reached in the luxury scale in life and rather start associating your dignity with the choices that you choose to make. When I would walk into that apartment, I would not allow my dignity be brought down by the fact that I, after 4 years or 5 years in business and work, I wasn't in business for 5 years. I was working for 4 years and in business for 1. You get the idea. And just in case I forget to edit this out. I would open the door to that dumpy apartment and I would think to myself, this is not a reason for my dignity or self-respect to go lower because this place is a shithole. Rather, I would think this is the apartment of somebody whose business in 5 years is going to be doing very well. This is the apartment of somebody who's making good decisions. I would try to frame it that way so that my self-respect or my self-confidence and dignity would not go down when I was making those decisions. And it's really important to be honest with yourself about this when you're looking at your business, when you're looking at where you are in life, when you're looking at how long you've been in business, how successful you are, what it is you could be doing differently, where you should be putting your time, where you should be putting money, where you should be putting your effort. Because it's easy to get complacent. It's really easy to get complacent. It's really easy to not invest in yourself, and it's really easy to be at the point where you were up here at one point, and then 1 or 2 years later, you're right back down where you started. And one of the reasons that I keep this in mind is because I realize that if I start to screw up, I could be right back where I was 10 years ago. It doesn't matter how much success you have, how much name recognition you have, how good you are at what you do. The moment you stop investing in yourself and your business and in learning and having the tools that you need to do your job, it's really easy to be right back where you were when you started if you don't invest in yourself the way you're supposed to. And it's really easy to not invest in yourself the way you're supposed to if you're letting it affect your feeling of self-worth and dignity, and if you're letting your ego get to you. And it can be really easy to not invest in yourself if the people in your life attack you for the fact that you're trying to better yourself rather than be happy for you and cheer you on and try to support you on that journey. So for that, I'm going to play the video that I did 6 years ago. And as always, I hope you learned something.
Hi, this is Lewis with Rossmann Repair Group, and today I'd like to talk about investing in your business, investing in yourself, why it's a good idea, and how it worked for me. So this topic comes up because this is about the 4th anniversary of this machine with my business. This is an ultrasonic cleaner. This ultrasonic cleaner cost about $500. The tray inside the ultrasonic cleaner cost me about $100. And this Grand Sonic EC fluid here, very heavy, Cost me about $100 at the time. So all in all with shipping, this was about an $800 investment. And I made this $800 investment 4 years ago when I was very, very broke and very, very destitute, starting my business with about $268. And how did I afford to do this? Well, I lived here. I didn't like living there. It was a shitbox. I didn't like wearing crappy clothes. I didn't like having holes in my shoes, and I didn't like having a flip phone. But I did it, and because I did that, I was able to afford this machine. Now, why do I want this machine? Because this machine has the magic ability to turn dead motherboards into lots of money. And over 4 years, that's exactly what it did. Looking at my records, the amount of machines that I gave up on with the alcohol and the toothbrush because it didn't work and threw into here have made me $100,000 in gross revenue over 4 years. And it's been on an exponential leap since I have a store now and I'm not doing it out of my apartment. So that investment made me all of that money that I would not have gotten otherwise. And because I made that money, I now live here. And you know, there were things that helped along the way. There were small business loans. There were times where I bought 50 of a product at $80 that, due to market conditions, became $250 a week later. But the way I was able to sustain my business and sustain my success early on, instead of give up when things got hard, was I invested in my business instead of investing in my personal life. Because my business pays for my personal life. My personal life doesn't pay for shit. And most people's businesses are that way. But even though most people's businesses follow mine, they put all their money into their personal life. And then they give up. It was too hard. Oh, we just couldn't make it in that field. Oh, there's no money in that field, or whatever. They will make excuses because they were unable to succeed. And the reason most people are unable to succeed is because they are unable to sacrifice to get from the beginning to the end. What I'm suggesting you do is sacrifice. Don't spend all the money on the beginning on yourself. Don't start a business and expect to live in a nice apartment and have a nice smartphone and wear nice clothes in the beginning. That's not how businesses start. And you know what? That's a good thing because it evens the playing field. It's not just about the A students and the people with the degrees and all the business experience that get by and win. You see, the people that win are often the people who are simply willing to crawl through that Shawshank Redemption sewer of shit in order to get to the nice island. And living in that apartment, that was about 3 to 6 months of the Shawshank Redemption sewer of shit. And this can be applied to almost any business. It doesn't matter what you do. You could be an audio engineer. You could work in networking and IT. You could work in fixing laptops. You could be a car mechanic. Whatever industry you're in, I'm pretty sure that there's something you could be investing in right now that you're not investing in because you don't have the money. And I'm pretty sure you would have that money if you were willing to downgrade your life for a while. And the reason I'm bringing this up about downgrading your life is because people will occasionally go, well, I don't have a store, you have a store, blah. Like I should give a fuck. Like I should feel bad for them. Well, I don't feel bad, because again, I lived here. I lived in way worse than there. And, you know, the time didn't take pictures of it, for obvious reasons. I've sacrificed. You know, I would take the bus home at 2 or 3 in the morning after a 14-hour day instead of calling a cab. And all of these times that I saved this money, I invested it right back into my business. I invested it into having an LP133WX1 and 2 in stock, so that if somebody called me and said, I need this done in 20 minutes, I could say, you know what, I can do that. I don't need to order a part, it's here. And that investment in my business is what allowed me to grow, and it's what allowed me to get here. Do I feel bad that I'm 24 years old and I'm here, while you're 40 years old and you're there? Fuck no. You know why? Because I put in the time, I put in the effort, and most importantly, I put in the sacrifice. And the reason I bring this up is because there are people who will try to make me feel bad for my success. There are people who will go, well, you have this and I only have this. You know why I have this? Because I was willing to live in that shithole. Because I was willing to eat apples at the end of the day instead of a real meal when it could be, so that I could have lunch and dinner for under 99 cents. And I was willing to not have a smartphone. I was willing to not have a television. I was willing to give up everything in order to invest in my business. And I continuously did that. I put everything back into the business. And if you do that, I think you'll notice that you go somewhere. I am tired of walking into businesses that complain that they cannot do certain things, and then looking at their table and seeing that all they have with them is a toothbrush and alcohol, and then bragging to me how they've been in business for 10 years. I am tired of going to businesses that complain that somebody said no because they may have to wait. Oh, that damn customer's impatient. You've been in business for 10 years. Stock a fucking 15.6-inch screen if you advertise that you fix fucking computers. Invest in your business. You have a car. You have a house. You have 2 stores. I'm sure somewhere there just a little bit of sacrifice could be put in so that you could spend $38 fucking to have one of those there in case a customer walks in. Invest in yourself. Don't complain about me. Don't complain about the people who are out there sacrificing so that they could have what they have. And again, most of these videos you may notice are being done at 11 p.m. or 2 or 3 in the morning because I sacrificed something else during the day. That's my time. I sacrificed everything that I had in order to get where I am. That's why I have no apologies. That's why when somebody says I should get a raise just because, you know, well, I'm the worker and you're the owner, like you don't know what it's like. Fuck you, I do know what it's like and I do more work than you, and that's why I'm here and you're there. Do the work. It's not that hard to get here. All you have to do is do the work. All you have to do is put in the sacrifice. All you have to do is put in the effort. If you're not willing to do that, my heart pumps piss for you.